What is up guys, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video I'm going to be back on the SP404 Mark II. At the moment I'm doing a lot of beat making on the SP again, which is really cool. I'm really enjoying it. And one of the things that is making it very enjoyable is the fact that I've got these shortcuts nailed down. I think they're really helping my workflow and they're making things a lot easier. So what I thought I'd do in this video is show you those shortcuts which I've been using really regularly, and hopefully you can integrate these into your workflow. And just quickly before I start guys, don't forget to check out all the links in my description below. I rely on your support to keep this channel going, so check out my shop where I've got beat packs and merch, and there's loads of other ways you can support me as well, so that would be very much appreciated. Okay, without further ado, let's get down to the device and I can show you these awesome shortcuts. Okay guys, here we are at the SP404 Mark II, and the first tip that I'm going to show you is using the copy button. And the copy button is actually incredibly useful on this device, and it can mean you can apply certain things to a lot of samples at the same time. So using copy, as long as your samples are in a mute group, you can change the speed, pitch, volume, pan, BPM, BPM sync, gate loop and reverse. And additionally, on top of that, if you're inside the envelope screen, which is shift and pitch and speed, you can change attack, hold, release, BPM sync, gate loop and reverse as well in there apparently. So there's loads of different things that you can do using copy, and it's extremely useful. Now, one of the main things that I do, and it's already been done here as you can see, is using it to create envelopes or fades on the starts of samples so that you get that nice smooth feeling when a sample's coming in, and you're also getting rid of any artifacts at the start of the sample as well. This will help with your crossfade points so you don't get those little clicks. If you have a fade instead, then you just get this much more natural sound, and it gives you a bit of space for your kicks as well, so it can create a kind of fake sort of pumping sound, which I've found recently. So you can see here, if I hold copy, it says to mute group very quickly. You might not have seen it on the screen, but you get a little notification that says to mute group. And then if I change this attack to 15, for example, if it'll let me, there we go, I've got it on 15 now. If I go to any pad in this mute group, 15, you can see they're all 15. If I hold that again and change it to 16, back to what it was originally, you can see that that's applied that to all the samples in the mute group as well. So I'll put that on the screen, all the parameters that it can change. It can be so useful. Another one is pitch as well. So I've got this on -5. If I hold copy, again it's saying to mute group, you can see there much more clearly. If I change this to -3, and let's say that wasn't working for my beat and I want to change that, hold copy, back down to 5 again, -5. And there we go, they're all back to -5. It makes a lot of tedious tasks very simple. Just hold copy and it basically opens up a whole world of changes that you can make with this device on multiple samples all at the same time. Okay, number 2 is bus 3 and 4 mute. This is so useful. So say you're in the middle of making a beat, and I'll usually have bus 3 and bus 4 on because it's got my 2 compressors on. I've got compression and 303 vinyl sim where I'm using the compression as well. I kind of double up my compressors. If you want to find out more about my bus settings, check out the video in the top right. I've got a whole breakdown of my bus secret source, so you can check that out there. So basically with my setup, I only want those 2 effects on the very last signal on the master chain. So the last 2 effects that get applied to the overall sound of the beat are those 2. So I don't want these on, for example, when I'm sampling in a sample, or when I'm resampling something. I certainly don't want there to be 2 compressors on there, because then when I play it back again, it will again add these 2 compressors on and double the compression up, and it can just ruin the whole thing. That may come across as a bit confusing, but basically when you're resampling or sampling in, I don't want bus 3 and 4 on that signal, because I only want these on the very end of the signal flow. So what you can do is really easy, and again this is pretty hard to see in the video, but if you hold value and press bus effects, you should be able to see at the bottom of the screen here. I'll keep doing it so you can see it. You can turn bus 3 off and on. You can see it's flashing that off and on. So when you need to resample, or when you need that off for whatever reason it may be, you can quickly do it there instead of having to go into the effects like this and turn it off all the way at the top or turn it back on. That's what I used to do, but now you can just really easily do this. Bus 3 and bus 4 off and on. It's so handy, a really well thought out little shortcut from Roland, that one, and that is something that I use pretty much on every beat as I'm making it. I'll need to mute those buses at some point, so it's super, super handy for that. Okay, another one that I use a lot when I'm making beats is delete all the pads in a bank at the same time. Now this can save so much time, and this happens a lot when I'm sort of chopping up a sample into 16, I play around with it and then realise it doesn't work, so I want to just get rid of the whole thing straight away. So all you have to do is be in the right bank that you want to delete, press and hold delete and then press exit at the same time, and you can see now that the screen has changed to say delete bank A, and what it says by default is select pad. You can see there, delete bank A. I'm not going to go and do this because I actually need this beat, I'm working on it at the moment. If you did want to do it, you go ahead and press delete to confirm it. You can see it's flashing, it's asking you to confirm that, and that'll delete every single pad in that bank straight away. And it's really, really fast at doing it because of the built-in SSD drive as well. I don't want to do that, so if you want to come out of that at any point, you just press exit, and that brings you back to normal. But yeah, super easy to do. Hold delete, press exit in whatever bank you want to be in, and it'll allow you to delete the entire bank or the contents of that bank, and it just makes things a lot quicker when you're making a beat. Okay, toggle gate is another huge one which I use a lot, especially after you've imported a lot of drums. And usually when I import all these, all the samples have gate on, which of course you don't really want for drums. So instead of going through and having to take off gate on every single pad like this, what you can do is just do shift, so hold shift, and then press gate. And you can see there, again, these notifications are very fast, but basically it said bank F, gate off. And then if I want, I can put that back on again. There you go, it's on, off, on, there you go. You can see there if I hold it on like this, you can just toggle between having gate off and on. So I want mine off, and now all those samples have gate switched off. It's really, really handy when you've imported loads of drum sounds. I use that pretty much on every beat because I like to import a lot of different drum sounds so I can try different ones, and they usually always have gate set on them by default, so just do that shift gate, turns them all off straight away, and I'm ready to go with the drums. Super, super handy stuff. Okay, the last one is my absolute favourite, and I am constantly using this when I'm in pattern mode. Now, I have actually noticed that this is a little bit buggy sometimes. Sometimes it just doesn't work, and you have to kind of come out of pattern mode and go back in. That sometimes fixes it. On other occasions, I've had to actually reboot the SP, so hopefully this is something that can be fixed in the future, but for now, hopefully it'll work for this demonstration so I can show you. This is insanely useful. This is one of my favourite shortcuts on the SP that they introduced. I think it was in 3.0. I just use it on every single beat. So let's say, for example, here, okay, so I've got that beat, but let's say, for example, I'd made that loop, but then just wanted the drums on their own. Is that possible to do? Well, yeah, it's really, really easy. So what you do is you press copy, you select the pad which you want to copy the samples from, so 14, and now I'm going to select the destination as well. That's going to be 15. Now, before I press copy again to confirm that, what I'm going to do is hit remain. So I hit remain, and I don't know if you'll be able to see very well here, but I'm going to go into F, and you should be able to see hopefully that the top three here, 1, 2 and 3, are actually lit up. They're the drum sounds that I used in this loop. So none of the other pads in this bank are actually illuminated at this point. I know it's hard to see with my studio lights. And then what I can do is select those. So there you go, it gives you a preview as well. And now I'm happy, they're the only 3 samples that I want. If you go into A, you can see all the chops that I've used as well, but I don't want the chops, I just want the drums. So I've selected the drums, and it all seems to be working nicely for this example, which is good. Now I can confirm it by pressing copy. And if I go to that pattern now, on 15, you should be able to hear that this is just the drums. And there you go, it's only copied the drums across from that pattern. And I won't go into all the reasons why that's so handy, but trust me, if you're someone that makes beats in pattern mode on a regular basis, that is an absolute lifesaver. And that just comes in so handy when I'm making beats. So yeah, I'm sure if you haven't heard of that one before, you'll definitely be using that. It's really, really handy. And like I say, like all the other ones in this video, I use that all the time, and it saves me a ton of time. Alright, that is it for this one, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you found these shortcuts useful. Leave a comment below which was your favourite from this list. I'd love to hear your feedback for this one. If you're new around here, smash that subscribe and give me a like as well, as it really helps me with the algorithms. But until next time, guys, keep doing what you do, keep making beats, and I will see you again very, very soon.